Well, hello, students. It's Mrs. Coley. Today I'm going to be helping you learn your new vocabulary words, and it's from Unit 6, Week 2. And these are our words. What I'd like us to do to prepare for these words is I'm going to say the word and you're going to say it right after me, okay? Here we go. Argue. Astonished. Complained. Conditions. Forbidding. Forecast. Relief. And last but not least, stranded. What is the word? You got it. Okay, so hopefully you participated in that activity. You are going to be seeing these words in your shared read and in your main selection this week. And so some of these words are a little tricky. You can see we have some past tense verbs on the ending. Things are happening in the past tense. If you were to try to create a story with these words, what kind of a story would you create? Argue, astonish, complain, conditions, forbidding, forecast, relief, and stranded. I kind of put together, I hadn't read the story yet, but I've kind of put together kind of an exciting story about maybe some characters who get stranded somewhere and somebody forecasted some bad weather and they were complaining about the weather conditions. Hey, that's my prediction. What's yours? Why don't you think of something really quickly? And then let's start learning our words. Okay, here's our first word. What is the word? Well, boys and girls, the word is argue. What is the word? Argue. Good. If we argue, it means that you're going to express a difference of opinion or disagree. So argue means to disagree. So I know you've all used the word argue or heard people talk about it. It's not a new word, but here's a sentence that you could use, and be thinking of your own sentence. How would you use argue in a sentence? James and his grandfather sometimes discuss movies and argue about them. So you just have a disagreement with someone. Okay, our next word is astonished. What is the word? The word is astonished. Astonished means when people are astonished, they are surprised or amazed. So if you're astonished, everybody looks surprised. Like it's Christmas morning, we're all astonished because we got just what we asked Santa Claus for. Here's a sentence with these, maybe they're brother and sister, but let's see what happens in this sentence. Tammy and Kim were astonished or excited and amazed at the big bug they found. Probably right there. I don't know. But you can tell they're pretty astonished or surprised or amazed. Our next word is the word complained. Well, if you just look at that picture there, his face says it all, doesn't it? We all know what it looks like when we're complaining. You've heard other people complain. Yeah, you're just not very happy. You're not a happy camper. So complaint means when people complain, they make an accusation or a charge. So they're trying to defend themselves and say, oh, this is bad, or this is boring, or something like that. They're complaining about how come they have to clean their room because it's not dirty. So when you complain, you're making an argument about something. Let's find out what this boy by the name of Ben's complaining about. I can kind of tell by looking at the peas on his plate. Probably he's not too excited about eating his dinner. Let's see if I'm right. Ben complained about his dinner because he didn't like what? Peas. Boys and girls, if you use picture clues, it makes this go so much easier. Okay, our next word is conditions. And if you don't know what conditions means, the picture sometimes gives it away. So does it look like there's poor weather conditions in this picture? So that's what I would assume. Conditions means the state or circumstances that something is in. Is that umbrella in a very good condition? No, it looks to me like it's now broken. I've actually had that happen, and yeah, I had to throw my umbrella away, so that is a bad condition. So the sentence reads, Mark's umbrella was ruined by the windy conditions. Forbidding. So if I don't know what forbidding means, I'm going to look at the sign. It says no swimming by recommendation of county health department. So if you don't know what the word forbidding is, it means prohibiting or ordering not to do something. So if you're forbidding someone, you're basically telling them they can't do something. So let's find out, how can we use the word forbidding in a sentence? This sign is forbidding Synonym would be stopping. Okay, so if you don't know what forbidding means, make a synonym connection. Synonym, forbidding and stopping is the same word. So this sign is stopping us from swimming in the pond. Or it's not letting us swim in the pond, right? It's stopping us from swimming in the pond. Good. How would you use the word forbidding in a sentence? Good. Forecast. Well, we've all seen Channel 2, 4, or 5 news. We know what a forecast is. So you're familiar with this word. It's a statement that tells us what will or may happen. Sometimes the weathermen are wrong, but they do use some research to try to support what they're telling us. So a forecast either may or may not happen. And the sentence reads, the weatherman says that the forecast today is sunny and warm, but that forecast means may or may not happen, right? Because sometimes they are wrong, and they'll tell you they're maybe 60% chances of rain or something like that. Okay, our next word is the word relief. What is the word? Relief. Good job. Okay, so look at the picture. How would you use the word relief by looking at this without reading the sentence below? Well, relief means it's the freeing from discomfort or pain. So I'm thinking that they're probably at a veterinary clinic, and maybe the dog had a thorn in his paw or something, and now the dog, little Fluffy, feels relief. Oh, it was a relief that Mom found my dog and he was okay. So I was just making a prediction. My prediction wasn't totally correct, but it made sense with using the word relief. So the actual sentence is, it was a relief that Mom found my dog and he was okay. So anyways, I guess they took it to the vet's clinic to make sure their lost dog was okay. And it's a relief. If you're nervous about something, let's say maybe you go to the doctor's office because you have a sore throat, and your mom has you open up your mouth and say, ah, and she sees that you have tonsils that maybe have white spots on them, and she says, oh no, you're going to have a tonsillectomy and get those tonsils removed. And she makes you an appointment. You go to the doctor's office, and then the doctor says, oh no, it's just a little bit of like what's called strep throat. We just need to give you some medicine. You don't need to have your tonsils taken out. And then you would say this to your mom, oh, what a relief. I hate having surgery. So that's how you could use the word relief. Okay, so everybody look at our next word. It's the word stranded, and look at the picture clue that goes with it. You can tell there's someone that looks like she wants to get outside, but she can't. She's stranded inside that log cabin. Stranded means when people are stranded, they are left in a helpless position. So she looks like she's smiling, which doesn't tell me that she's really helpless. But I'll tell you how I've used this word in a sentence. But we'll first read about Patricia, and then I'll tell you, maybe you kind of are thinking more along the same lines as me. So this says, Patricia was stranded at home during the rainstorm. Has that ever happened to you? Yeah, if it's raining cats and dogs, which are idioms, then you know what it feels like to be stranded. Maybe you wanted to go to Lagoon with your parents, and you look up, it's cloudy skies, it turns into a thunderstorm, and it's raining buckets of water, raining cats and dogs, and you are literally stranded at home. You can't leave, otherwise you would have to go. It would be like taking a shower outside. It would be that bad. You'd just be completely soaking wet. So you can use stranded in the situation where you're stranded at home for whatever weather conditions. It's like a snow day, we get stranded at home. Or have you ever been stranded in your car, maybe with a flat tire? That's not a good situation to be in. So we can be stranded for various reasons, and usually it's not a good reason. Okay, now you can tell I've already kind of prepared you for what we're going to be learning about today. We're going to be learning about the word idioms. Idioms are words that are called figurative language. So when an author or a poet uses idioms in their text, it's not literal. It's not really what the word means. It's just kind of like a little saying that as you're a young child, you hear your parents use these idioms, or you read about them in books, and then it makes sense. And a lot of times an author will explain what they mean by their idiom by the words that follow. And so as you're reading this story this week in your shared read, you're going to be reading about, I'll show you a picture that goes with it. You're going to be reading about this little family, and Rosa and Eddie, they definitely had a blizzard. They've got some serious weather conditions, and you're going to see how the author uses different words to paint kind of a picture in your mind. But again, they're not real words. It's not the literal meaning of the words, so be very careful. Maybe you've heard the word, oh, it's a piece of cake. So is it really like you're giving a person a piece of cake when you say it's a piece of cake when I took a test? Well, my daughter actually thought that that's what would happen when her teacher says, oh, this test is a piece of cake. So my daughter went home and actually studied really hard, thinking that if she got 100% on the test, that her teacher would give her a piece of cake. So again, we cannot think of these words as being literal. It's just a play on words. For instance, up here, you can see another example of an idiom would be, maybe your mom said this to you. You know what, Johnny, I can't take you to the park today. I'm feeling under the weather. So when your mom says that to you, does that mean that she's outside underneath the weather and she's getting rained on or wind blown? No. And that means that actually she's feeling sick, huh? And these are things that you just learn the more that you practice the English language. In the text, you're going to see here, they give you this example. You're going to see stick together. And it's what I told you a little earlier. Sometimes if you don't know what the idiom is, if you read on it, the author tells you what she's meaning or what he's meaning. So the sentence reads, okay, said Mama, but we have to stick together and stay close to each other. So what does stick together really mean? Well, it means stay close to each other. There's a couple more examples on the next page that I wanted to share with you. I've gone ahead and highlighted them or underlined them in red. We've already done this one here together, the idiom stick together. Let's try this one. Mama helped Rosa and Eddie bundle up in their uncomfortable but warm wool clothes. So idiom, bundle up is an idiom. And what does it really mean? Well, it means that you're going to put layers on to stay warm, correct? And you can see that if you read on, it's an uncomfortable feeling too when you're bundled up because sometimes you can't move properly. But that's what bundled up really means. It's an idiom. And if we come down here, again, our purpose right now is to not read the text together and practice fluency skills or comprehension skills. Our purpose right now is to look for idioms in text and try to figure out what do those words mean. So let's go to our next one here. It's going to be in the last paragraph. It says, I should have worn my glasses. Colin, may we borrow your shovels? Oh man, I can't read that. Per favor, something? Asked Rosa, I think we need to give Mrs. Sanchez a hand. Okay, so you can see I underlined the red part here, Mrs. Sanchez, a hand. So does that mean that they're going to actually cut their hands off and give their hands to Mrs. Sanchez? No. You probably know what that means because I'm sure your mom has said this to you. Maybe she's cleaning the house and she says, hey, Johnny, could you please give me a hand? I'm up here on the ladder and I need a hammer from below. Can you give me a hand and hand me the ladder, please? And you say, sure, Mom. So anyways, hopefully you've enjoyed this lesson. Again, we've been reviewing a lot of exciting words for this week, and I want you to be thinking about what kind of a story or stories are you going to be reading using these interesting words, and also be on the lookout for what in your stories? Be on the lookout for idioms because they're going to be all over in your stories. Well, I hope this was fun. I enjoyed sharing it with you. I hope you have a great day. And remember, keep on reading and looking for idioms. Bye-bye.